Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of Her Excellency Christine Carla Kangaloo ORTT, President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Her Excellency Christine Carla Kangaloo, ORTT, President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Ms. Joanna Kazana, United Nations Resident Coordinator for Trinidad and Tobago, Suriname, Aruba, Curacao, and St. Martin, and representative of the United Nations Secretary General, Ms. Fain Richards, Development Coordination Officer, Program Communications and Advocacy, UN Resident Coordinator's Office, Ms. Soraya Warner Gustav, District Governor, Rotary District 7030, Ms. Lara Quintrell Thomas, Past District Governor, Rotary District 7030, Ms. Anne-Marie Lall Salim, President of the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain, Ms. Felicia Cumberbatch, President of the Rotary Club of St. Vincent, Ambassador of the Republic of Panama, His Excellency Diomedes Carles, members of the UN System and Diplomatic Corps, members of the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain, members of the Rotaract Club of Central Port of Spain, student delegates of the Model United Nations, sponsors and program partners, members of the media. Good morning. My name is Rakaya Scott, a Mune alumni and former head trainer and proud Rotaractor and baby of the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain. It gives me the absolute pleasure to call to order the 2025 Model United Nations hosted by the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain. This year marks the 25th year of the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain's Mune, the largest of its kind in Trinidad and Tobago, and the largest in the Caribbean. And I think that in itself deserves a hearty round of applause. But this year is a special year. Not only is it the 25th installation of the Model UN, but we have welcomed delegates from all over the Caribbean, from Grenada, Montserrat, Curacao, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Antigua and Barbuda, and we have approximately 200 students participating this year, the largest Mune that we have ever had. So without further ado, I would like to now invite the president of the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain, Ms. Anne-Marie Lall Salim, to deliver the welcoming remarks. She is the current president of the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain, and she launched her Rotary career at the Model UN in 2014. She is a secondary school teacher for more than 24 years and is currently the head of department for business and modern studies at St. Anthony's College. Her education background is diverse and includes history, English, international relations, law, industrial relations, gender, and carnival studies. She is also very active outside of Rotary, serving with Tutor Port of Spain and Environs District and the TML Ladies League St. Joseph, and is the proud mother of a 6-year-old Amani Arya. Ladies and gentlemen, President Anne-Marie Lall Salim.
Good morning. All the protocols previously observed. Today, we gather for the 25th anniversary of this remarkable Model United Nations, and we also commemorate the 80th anniversary of the United Nations. We stand at a critical juncture in history, where the pursuit of peace and the protection of human rights are not merely abstract ideals, but urgent imperatives for our collective survival. Our theme, peace building and human rights, resonates deeply with the core values of Rotary International. I wish to extend my deepest gratitude to all the dedicated Rotarians from the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain, who have given their time, resources, and unwavering commitment over these 25 years. These Rotarians have demonstrated faith in the power of youth and diplomacy. They have fueled this remarkable journey, championed what service above self means, and through this model United Nations, these Rotarians have transformed potential into reality. Rotarians, you are the silent architects who have empowered thousands of students to find their voice, to bridge divides, and to understand that the noblest pursuit is that of peace. And now to all of you, wonderful delegates, I want you to pause for a moment and be incredibly proud of yourselves. Because over 7 weeks, you have trained hard for this moment, right? Look at where you are. You have engaged in rigorous debate, tackled complex global challenges, and sought some common ground, better than some real nations sometimes do. You have demonstrated maturity beyond your years, empathy in your negotiations, and an unwavering commitment to a more just and peaceful world. So give yourselves a round of applause. The Model United Nations is not a trivial pursuit. The skills you have learned here today and for the past 7 weeks, critical thinking, diplomacy, collaborative problem solving, are the essential tools needed to build a world where peace is a reality and human rights are universally respected. You have taken the first crucial steps from aspiration to change. Delegates, you are not just stimulating the UN, you are preparing to inherit its vital mission. You possess the power to be the scriptwriters of your destiny and the stars that guide us towards a brighter future. The challenges we face, from ongoing conflicts to systematic injustices, are formidable, but so is your potential. Be proud of the ideals you champion, the solutions you propose, and the friendships you have forged across the borders and cultures. You are the embodiment of hope, the next generation of global leaders, and the true inspiration for all of us. Let us remember the words of Nelson Mandela. To the youth of today, I also have a wish to make. Be the scriptwriters of your destiny and feature yourselves as stars that show the way towards a brighter future. May your deliberations here today be guided by wisdom, compassion, and a shared commitment to a more just and peaceful world. Just wanted to say congratulations to the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain for their 25th year of the Model United Nations debates. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Anne-Marie. Architect of potential into reality. I think that is a very, very powerful statement. And it is the reality of the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain. Myself, others to the back of the room, some formidable young people, and yourselves will soon realize how true that statement is when you truly soak in this experience of the Model UN and see the real life growth and benefit that it has for you. Rotary clubs all over the world have played such a crucial part in the development of young people. And a true champion of that is our next speaker, District Governor Soraya Warner-Gustav. She has been a member of the Rotary Club of St. Lucia from March 2010. She served as president in the year 2018-2019 and has served in other capacities of the club's board and continues as an active member of her club. At the district level, she served as district secretary during the Rotary year 2020-2021 and has served as district Interact chair for 3 terms. She has been instrumental in revitalizing and growing District 7030's Interact community. DG Soraya is passionate about Interact and keenly focused on the upskilling of youth in service and leadership, and by extension, the shaping of leaders for the future. She is a founding committee member and director of the Worldwide District Interact Chair Association, which provides a platform for district Interact leaders who are focused on strengthening Interact districts across the Rotary world. District Governor Soraya is a multiple Paul Harris Fellow, a charter and continuing member of District 7030 Polio Plus Society, and a member of the Paul Harris Society. District Governor Soraya is a corporate banking professional, having served in the banking and finance industry for over 30 years. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our District Governor.
Good morning, distinguished guests, delegates, fellow Rotarians, Rotaractors, and Interactors. It is an honor and a privilege to join you here this morning for the 25th edition of this remarkable Model United Nations. I am so proud, so inspired by this incredible turnout of young delegates. Your presence not only fills this room with energy and promise, but also serves as a powerful testament to the enthusiasm and commitment of youth towards shaping a brighter future. Seeing so many passionate young minds eager to dialogue and change gives me immense hope for the future. So this is the 25th Model UN. Let us for a moment allow the weight of this 25th anniversary to settle in. This is such a significant milestone and a celebration not only of the Model UN success, but of the wonderful legacy that has been created. For a quarter of a century now, this event has stood as a source of inspiration, a safe space for dialogue, learning, and youth empowerment, nurturing the voices of future diplomats, advocates, and change makers. We know the influence and impact of these years extend well beyond the confines of this forum. The legacy that has been built here reaches into communities through inspiring change, fostering understanding, and the development of young leaders, young global citizens. I would like to extend huge congratulations to the Rotary Club of Central Porto, Spain, and everyone who has played a part in sustaining this legacy of excellence and global understanding. It is because of your partnership, your generosity, and your steadfast belief in the power of youth that this Model UN has thrived. Thank you. I also wish to pay special tribute to past District Governor Lara, whose leadership and passion have steered this Model United Nations journey with wisdom and grace. PDG Lara, your vision has shaped not only the structure of this gathering, but more importantly, the character and dreams of those who participate and who have participated. I dare say that we are all beneficiaries of your continued investment in our future generations. Thank you. This year's theme, Peace and Human Rights, could not be more timely or more vital. Around the world, we are reminded daily that peace is fragile and that human rights are the foundation upon which just and compassionate societies are built. So the conversations you delegates will hold here about justice, equity, dignity, and cooperation are not just academic exercises. They are reflections of real moral challenges facing our world today. But these ideals are at the very core of Rotary's mission and speaks as well to our presidential messaging this year, which calls for all of us to unite for good. Rotary is built on the belief that service to others is the path to peace, and that every effort, big or small, matters in creating a world where human rights are protected, cherished, and celebrated. Rotary's dedication to peace and human rights is evident through its diverse programs that include peace fellowships, its global partnerships that include partnerships with the UN and the Institute for Economics and Peace, and through its unwavering belief in the power of service. So by addressing the root causes of conflict and advocating for the dignity of all, Rotary continues to build a more peaceful world for generations to come. Every time Rotarians serve, whether it is through one of our Rotary's areas of focus, supporting education, fighting disease, growing local economies, or promoting peace, to name a few, we are reaffirming our faith in the inherent dignity and worth of every human being. Each act of service speaks to our shared commitment to uphold and respect the fundamental rights of others, no matter where you are in the world. I encourage you delegates to engage with open minds and empathetic hearts. Debate boldly, but always with respect. True diplomacy begins with listening, and every respectful exchange brings us one step closer to that global understanding that we are all striving to achieve. Thank you for your commitment to shaping a more peaceful and equitable world. You are the stewards of tomorrow's dialogue. Your ideas, compassion, and courage are the seeds from which a kinder world can grow. So on behalf of Rotary District 7030, I extend my warmest congratulations to the President and members of the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain, and extend best wishes to everyone for a rewarding, inspiring, and successful 2025 Model United Nations. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, District Governor Soraya. And please, can we just have another round of applause for Rotary District 7030 and Rotary International? Ladies and gentlemen, up next, I would like to invite Ms. Joanna Kazana, who is the United Nations Resident Coordinator for Trinidad and Tobago, Suriname, Aruba, Curacao, and Saint Martin. She has been serving in this role since 2023 and has over 20 years of experience in international development cooperation. Prior to this appointment, she was the UN Resident Coordinator in the Republic of Belarus, 2018 to 2023. Earlier, Ms. Kazana worked for the United Nations Development Program in New York, 2010 to 2018, and from 2005 to 2010, served as Deputy Representative of UNDP in Ukraine, where she led the creation of one of UNDP's largest local development projects, Community-Based Approach to Local Development in Ukraine. Ms. Kazana began her professional career in the UNDP office in Poland, where she worked as a UNDP National Program Officer in Warsaw. Also as international consultant for the United Nations Program on HIV/AIDS, and as an advisor on the International Program Development and Harm Reduction for the Soros Foundation. Ms. Kazana holds a master's degree in economics and international relations from the Warsaw School of Economics. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Joanna Kazana.
Your Excellency, Kangaloo ORTT, President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Ambassador of the Republic of Panama, Excellency Diomedes Carls, distinguished representatives of the diplomatic community, representatives of the United Nations agencies, Ms. Soraya Gustav Warner, District 7030 Governor, Ms. Lara Quentrell-Thomas, past District Governor and the Coordinator of Model UN, Rotary Club presidents, members of the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain, delegates of the 25th Annual Model UN Debate in Port of Spain, parents, teachers, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Before I start my speech, may I say we are absolutely delighted to celebrate together with you, and I'm also impressed by this amazing room full of delegates who are so prepared, who are so present, and who are so beautifully dressed in all of the national costumes. Congratulations. This truly looks like the UN General Assembly in New York. In this year, 2025, when the United Nations organization celebrates 80 years since its own founding, I'm really delighted to join you in marking another milestone, 25 years of the Model UN in Trinidad and Tobago. A quarter century ago, the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain saw the value of empowering young leaders by simulating the United Nations General Assembly debate. That vision has not only endured, but it expanded. Today, the Model UN has reached its largest ever number of participants, an incredible achievement in its own right. So again, congratulations to the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain, and special thanks for widening participation this year to invite delegates from Antigua and Barbuda, Curacao, Montserrat, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Grenada. Alongside, of course, with the very impressive and huge number of students from Trinidad and Tobago. This truly is a Caribbean Model UN. This year's theme, ladies and gentlemen, peace and human rights, could not be more fitting given the challenges that the world is facing today. When the UN General Assembly adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights back in 1948, the idea that every human being, regardless of gender, religion, nationality, or race, shared equal worth and equal rights was a revolutionary one. Today, human rights are central to our fabric of the society. The right to food, the right to shelter, the right to education, the right to work, and the right to choose your path in life. They all seem natural. 80 years ago, it was a truly revolutionary thought. But human rights, as we know, can flourish only where there is peace. Maintaining peace is the first purpose of the United Nations. And as you learned during your training, the Charter of the United Nations is the cornerstone of a peaceful world order and conflict resolution based on dialogue, giving every member state, large and small, an equal voice and a platform for cooperation. Peace and human rights do not automatically sustain themselves, and this is the very important second point I want to make to you. It's not a given. Peace is a constant process. It's like a plant that needs to be nurtured and taken care of and grown and really kept in the center of everyone's attention. Peace is not a given to us forever. Peace must be protected, and human rights must be protected and defended by all of us every day. And a special role goes to the young people and delegates like you, but also everyone who is young and chooses the professional path for the future. I think a couple of weeks ago, during the training in September, my colleague, Dr. Dylan Kerrigan, of the United Nations Department of Peace Building and Political Affairs, colleague from our office, spoke here with you, talking about the fact that the peace is the responsibility not only by the governments, parliaments, leadership of countries, United Nations organization, but that peace starts from peaceful communities. Peace starts when citizens choose peaceful resolutions to the smallest differences, to the smallest problems, at the level of school, at the level of home, at the level of community, at the level of workplace. Peace needs to be nurtured, starting from there, growing from the bottom up, like a beautiful plant. And then only when it's nurtured, where you have peaceful communities, peaceful countries, peaceful regions, conflict will find no fertile ground. Young people like you are absolutely vital to peace building and to defending human rights around the world. As UN Women colleagues emphasized to you in September session, the United Nations General Assembly has passed dedicated resolutions recognizing the essential role both of youth and women in sustaining peace and security. I urge you today, our dear Model UN delegates participating in this very impressive event, to use the valuable training and insights that you've received over the last couple of weeks and months to truly commit yourselves to defending human dignity in every sphere that you choose in your professional careers. The world needs voices that will speak out when peace and human rights are threatened. So today, you debate a 2024 UN General Assembly resolution on the prevention of genocide, one of the gravest crimes against humanity. And may I also note here that the term genocide was coined in 1944, even before the UN was created, by my own countryman, a Polish lawyer, Dr. Raphael Lemkin, who, being from a Jewish Polish family, lost about 50 members of his family in the Holocaust. Combining the Greek words genos and Latin word sida, killing, Lemkin gave a name to the extermination of peoples, and his advocacy led the United Nations to the adoption of the UN Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, adopted in 1948. Genocide is not a relic of Lemkin's time. It remains a real threat, and it demands vigilance. This is why I commend all of you for choosing this subject and the resolution that goes to the heart of today's challenges. And when you think about it and study history of genocide, you will learn, and you have learned preparing for today, that genocide does not erupt overnight. It begins when societies label others as them, outsiders, different. And differences become divisions, marginalization, or dehumanizing others. Any group, women or men, persons with disability, migrants, refugees, or minorities, can spiral into discrimination. It spirals very, very easily into hate speech. And then it leads to normalizing violence. It leads to systematic violations of human rights and international law. That's why it's really vital to speak out wherever and whatever violations you observe, especially now, these days, abuse on the internet. On the internet, comments may initially seem very harmless. In our digital era, hate speech spreads rapidly online, and it is fueling polarization by abuse, by verbal abuse. So let's not get used to it. Let's not ignore it. Let's not spread it. Let's not share it. Because that verbal confrontation, abuse, and labeling people as others and wrong is abusive. Even in virtual spaces, your responsibility to promote respect and empathy is absolutely crucial. So on this occasion today, I urge you and I invite you, all of you as a group and individuals, to be vanguards of human rights and peace building online. I want to also echo the words of my colleague, Dr. Felipe Polier, who is the United Nations Assistant Secretary General for Youth Affairs, and the video on who you reviewed during your trainings, who said that protecting peace and human rights may feel a bit overwhelming. These are global challenges, and it may feel that there's nothing relevant that we can do about it. But he also reminded us that young people like you are a source of hope and vision for the future. You are the living proof that positive change is possible. I also want to invite you to see the United Nations as your ally, as your champion, and as your enabler. Through our global 2030 youth strategy, we have helped to empower young people as agents of change. And as part of that commitment, the UN country team in Trinidad and Tobago has proudly partnered with the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain in support of this year's Model UN, providing financial assistance and training to the foundations of the United Nations in peace building and in human rights. Delegates, as you will be debating today, take pride in simulating a real global conversation which happens daily at the United Nations, both in the headquarters and also in the regional offices and country offices. By representing countries you may never visit and advocating positions beyond your own, you yourself embody the very spirit and the tool of multilateralism, ensuring that diverse voices are shaping our shared future. As I close, I want to extend a warm welcome, a warm thanks to my colleagues from the UN agencies, funds, and programs, especially from UNDP, UN Women, UN Information Center, and the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights for training and mentoring the delegates over the last couple of weeks. Once again, heartfelt congratulations to Laura and Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain. It's been a huge effort, and I think that Lara is just the embodiment of a colleague who is giving back to her community. She's been doing this every day for so many years, and I really truly appreciate her as a role model, as someone who is a volunteer on this front. She's doing it because she cares, and she's doing it for all of us, and I think she deserves another big round of applause. And my last point to all of you, as you debate today, is that you matter. What you do matters. What you do today as delegates, what you do today as students and as young people who are choosing your path, the fact that you're here matters. The fact that you're doing this and learning really matters. And in a way, it will shape you for the future, regardless of what will be the actual job that you're going to get. Not all of us are going to go through international relations. UN is not at all made of people who have studied international relations only. Many of us have, but there are lawyers, there are doctors, there are IT technicians, there are drivers, there are food security experts, agricultural experts, there are chemists, there are communications and media professionals. There's every kind of profession in the United Nations, globally and locally here. I work with an amazing group of people, 200 people in Port of Spain working for the UN from different countries, but also local trainees. And they represent the whole plethora of jobs. So no matter what you do, you can find your way to the community who cares, to the community who works on human rights, to the community of professionals who believe in the harmonious, peaceful, human rights-based development. So congratulations on today. I wish you a wonderful debate and congratulations on the accomplishments so far. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Ms. Joanna Kazana, for that wonderful, wonderful address. And I think it is very reassuring as young people to hear that no matter what path we choose, we can definitely find our ways into the doors of international development to truly help and serve the world that we live in. So thank you for that. As a former youth parliamentarian, it is my absolute honor and privilege to introduce Her Excellency Christine Carla Kangaloo ORTT, President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Her Excellency Christine Carla Kangaloo ORTT became the 7th President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago on March 20th, 2023. She is the 2nd female to hold the office. Born and raised in San Fernando, Her Excellency is an attorney by profession. She graduated with honors in law from the University of the West Indies and obtained her legal education certificate from the Hugh Wooding Law School in 1985. Her distinguished career in public service includes roles as Assistant Registrar of the Supreme Court, Member of Parliament, Minister of Government, Vice President of the Senate, and President of the Senate. Her Excellency's long and unique varied public service career has given her deep insight into the workings of government, public service, and the needs of citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. In her address to the nation on the occasion of her inauguration as president, Her Excellency pledged to make the office of the president more accessible and to promote youth engagement through culture, education, and the arts. Her Excellency also pledged to advocate for the widespread adoption of the Panyard model as a means of introducing discipline and the structure into the lives of our nation's youth. To these ends, since taking office, Her Excellency has visited over 40 schools, launched Storytime at the President's House to promote literacy and confidence in children. Her Excellency has hosted numerous cultural events and welcomed over 6,000 members of the public on tours of the President's House. With respect to the steel pan, Her Excellency has successfully advocated for the recognition of the steel pan as the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago, and each year since 2024 has put on a pan camp based on the Panyard model for young persons who have never previously played the instrument and who come together for a week at the President's house to learn how to do so and to learn life skills in general. Her Excellency is committed to advocating for better arrangements for all of our citizens and has pledged to be our country's diplomat-in-chief and to make her case for a better Trinidad and Tobago firmly, but without acrimony or bitterness. Her Excellency guards jealously the independence of the office of the President and is fiercely committed to protecting the office and to ensuring that it is shown the respect that is required to be accorded to it as the highest office in the land. Her Excellency is a cancer survivor and is married to First Gentleman Kerwin Garcia, Senior Counsel. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Her Excellency Christine Carla Kangaloo.
Your Excellency, Diomedes Carlos Cleghorn, Ambassador of the Republic of Panama, Ms. Joanna Kazana Wisniewski, United Nations Resident Coordinator for Trinidad and Tobago, Suriname, Aruba, Curacao, and St. Martin, and representative of the United Nations Secretary General, Ms. Faye Richards, Development Coordination Officer, Program Communications and Advocacy, UN Resident Coordinator's Office, Ms. Soraya Warner Gustav, District Governor, Rotary District 7030, Ms. Lara Quentrell Thomas, past District Governor, Rotary District 7030, Ms. Anne-Marie Lall Salim, President of the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain, Ms. Felicia Cumberbatch, President of the Rotary Club of St. Vincent, members of the United Nations System, members of the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain, student delegates of the Model United Nations, members of the media, other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Just checking to see if you all are awake. I am delighted to join you today to open this 25th edition of the Model United Nations, hosted and organized so faithfully each year by the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain. What a remarkable milestone, and what a privilege it is to celebrate it with you. To model means to follow or to imitate. And one of the ideals behind the hosting of this Model United Nations program is to have its participants follow or imitate the workings of the United Nations. And so one of the questions which participants in the program need to ask themselves is, what exactly is it that I am following or imitating as I participate in this program? Who is this United Nations that I am going to be modeling? If we do a Google search or ask ChatGPT this question, the answer we get is that the United Nations is, as we have heard this morning, an international organization founded in 1945 by 51 countries to maintain global peace and security, develop friendly relations among nations, and promote social progress, human rights, and better living standards. If we do a little more research, we will learn that the UN was founded following the devastation of World War II in order to prevent future global conflict. We will discover that at a conference held between April to June in 1945 in San Francisco in the United States, representatives of 50 nations drafted and signed the United Nations Charter and thereby created a new organization, to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war. We will also learn that the UN, in fact, succeeded an earlier organization called the League of Nations, which had been created in 1919 after World War I in order to prevent another world war, but which failed in its mission. And we will discover that the League formally transferred its assets to the UN in April 1946, that the UN officially came into existence on the 24th of October 1945, and that today it has 193 member states. What all of this tells us is that the United Nations came about as a result of a decision taken by countries of the world to never again permit a world war. It is the result of a decision taken to maintain international peace and security through the collective action of its member states. The United Nations' core purpose is the peaceful resolution of disputes. It achieves its purpose by promoting friendly relations among nations. It fosters international cooperation in solving economic, social, cultural, and humanitarian problems, and in upholding human rights and fundamental freedoms for all of the Earth's citizens. It serves as a center for harmonizing the actions of nations in pursuit of these shared goals. In a word, the United Nations is about maintaining peace. That is the organization, and these are the goals that as participants in this Model United Nations program, you are going to be called upon to follow or imitate. You are going to be called upon to follow or imitate pathways to peace. Peace is something that is becoming increasingly elusive in today's world. Today, in almost every continent on Earth, we see the brutality and the horror of war. Major ongoing wars and conflicts at this time include the Russia-Ukraine war, the conflict in Sudan, the Syrian civil war, and the Yemeni civil war. Other significant conflicts of the day involve gang violence in Haiti, the conflict in Myanmar, and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which includes ongoing hostilities in Gaza and southern Lebanon. This year's Model United Nations program therefore comes at a critical time in the affairs of the world. By immersing its participants in the workings of the United Nations, it exposes young people, students from schools across Trinidad and Tobago and the region, to pathways to peace. And by exposing young people to pathways to peace, it enhances the chances that as they emerge from the program, these young people will themselves become proponents of peace in their own individual fields of endeavor. It improves the prospect that these young people will help create a world in the future in which the wars and conflicts of today are resolved and become things of the past. The true impact of this program will be felt after its participants have completed it. It will be felt in the ways in which its participants continue long after the program is over to follow and to imitate pathways to peace. The challenge to participants in this program is not only to master the skills of research and public speaking that are required in order to succeed in the program. The challenge to participants is also to apply the lessons learned during the program to achieve peace in the places and in the communities which they inhabit. This is a difficult challenge. One of the difficulties which participants will face in following and imitating pathways to peace in the places and in the communities which they inhabit is the fact that, as I have said, there are wars and conflicts of all kinds all around us. It will be difficult for them in the communities which they inhabit to sell ideas of peaceful and collaborative coexistence when so many examples of the exact opposite abound. Another challenge they will face, particularly in Trinidad and Tobago, is the general tone of discourse in our society of late, which is often caustic and corrosive. Participants emerging from out of this year's program will have to contend with the widespread use of language in the public space that tends more often to divide and tear down than it does to heal divisions and to build up. Language that is antithetical to the values and the core purpose of the United Nations. Because of matters such as these, it will be difficult for participants in this year's program to apply in the places and in the communities which they inhabit the lessons learned during the program. The environment which they inhabit is, by reason of these matters, an environment that is hostile to following and imitating pathways to peace. But difficult does not mean impossible. It simply means that what you are reaching for is valuable enough to require great effort. Difficult situations are not a dead end, but rather a test of persistence, resilience, and effort. I believe in the young people of our country and of our region. I believe in their capacity to do things and to go to places which my own generation has not done and to which my own generation has not gone. I believe in our young people's ability to tackle and to solve the intractable problems of our time, one small step at a time. A seed pushes through heavy soil and darkness before it ever sees the sun. In the same way, the strength of our nations and of our region's young people is revealed when they keep going, even when the path feels dark and heavy. The invitation that this year's program extends to all of its young participants is to do precisely that, to keep going, to keep following and imitating pathways to peace, even when the environments which you inhabit feel hostile to the enduring peace which you are trying to accomplish. And I believe that you can do that. In fact, the plain and simple truth is that unless you do that, the whole world runs the risk of plunging itself into yet another world war. And the United Nations itself will be at risk of becoming another League of Nations which fails in its mission. These are not risks which we should be prepared to run. These are the risks against which you, our young participants in this year's program, have the sacred and the solemn duty to guard. For 25 years, this program has engaged curious young minds across the country and now across the region, developing in them valuable skills in diplomacy, research, public speaking, negotiation, and collaboration. For 25 years, it has enabled its young participants to unlock their confidence, strengthen interpersonal skills, and discover hidden talents, providing a clear pathway to realizing their fullest potential. Since inception, over 2,000 students have benefited from this powerful initiative. Many of those alumni now serve in leadership roles across diverse fields in our country and in the region, a record of which Rotary can be justifiably proud. Permit me, therefore, to express unreservedly my admiration and gratitude to the Rotary Club of Central Port-of-Spain for its steadfast dedication to this initiative and for ensuring its continued success over the past quarter century. Your work stands as testament to the Rotary motto of service above self and reflects its long-standing investment in young people and its belief in the power of education to transform lives. By preparing the next generation of leaders through participation in this program to be resourceful, compassionate, and capable, the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain has helped and is helping to guide our nation, our region, and indeed our world towards a brighter and more peaceful future. For this, you have my admiration and my thanks. And so, as we celebrate 25 years of the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain's Model United Nations program, let us honor this rich legacy by continuing to invest in our youth. Let us continue to support programs that equip young people with the skills to communicate effectively, work well with others, and contribute meaningfully to their communities and nations. This year's conference is particularly noteworthy. With 210 participants, double the usual number, and to the inclusion of delegates from Montserrat, Antigua, St. Vincent, Curacao, and Grenada, the event has taken on a truly regional character. I warmly welcome our visiting delegates and hope that your experience here will strengthen the bonds of friendship and cooperation across our Caribbean family. By working together in this Model United Nations, you deepen the bonds of friendship and solidarity that link our Caribbean nations. My dear young people, I would like to congratulate and commend you for choosing to take part in this simulation and for expanding your knowledge, skill set, and understanding of the world around you. I hope that this experience inspires you to see yourselves not only as students or representatives, but as models of peacemakers, capable of creating a world in which fairness, justice, and respect are the norm, a world in which we all would want to live. Thank you, and I wish you every success in this year's program.
Your Excellency, we would love to present you with a small token of our appreciation this morning.
We are not going to fall.
Yeah, I don't want to knock Her Excellency off the stage. Thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Let's just leave it there.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we please have another Leslie round of applause? I am truly very inspired this morning, and there's so much that I can say, but so much I will not because we are on a time crunch. And I would now like to invite one of your trainers who has been working very hard over these past 7 or 8 weeks and beyond that, because I also have to acknowledge all of the trainers and general committee to the back of the room who works day and night to ensure that you have the best training possible for you to come and shine today. So I am now going to invite Sanjeev Chanai, who is going to give the vote of thanks and the presentation of tokens.
Good morning, Your Excellency, distinguished guests, Rotarians, trainers, GC, and our dedicated delegates. It is my distinct pleasure to offer the vote of thanks for this 25th Annual Model UN opening ceremony. First and foremost, our profound gratitude goes to our featured speaker, Her Excellency, Christine Carla Kangaloo ORTT, President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Your presence, Her Excellency, is an immense honor, and your address has truly set an inspiring tone for this Model UN 2025 General Debate. We also extend our sincere thank you to Ms. Joanna Kazana, the United Nations Resident Coordinator for Trinidad and Tobago, Suriname, Aruba, Curacao, and St. Martin, and a representative of the UN Secretary General. Your insights on the work of the UN are inevitable and valuable to our delegates. A special thank you to DG Soraya on behalf of District 7030 for your greetings and commitment to service. Our thank you also goes to President Anne-Marie Lall Salim of the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain for her gracious welcome and remarks. We would like to present DG Soraya with a token of our appreciation on behalf of the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain. As well as Ms. Joanna Kazana. And President Annie. This Model UN is a success thanks to our unwavering support of many. We must thank our sponsors and partners, Atlantic LNG, Massey Foundation, Tropical Shipping, El Dorado Offshore, and Rams Logistics. The United Nations representatives, including the Resident Coordinator's Office, the UN Information Center in the Caribbean, DPPA, UN Women, and OHCHR. Our diplomatic friends, the embassies of Australia, Panama, and the European Union. Their insight to their diplomatic journey have sparked unwavering interest amongst our excited delegates. Key supporting organizations like Toastmasters, Mindwise, and the Caribbean Center for Human Rights. Our Rotary family and regional partners, the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain, and the regional Rotarians from Antigua and Barbuda, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Curacao, and Grenada. To the management and staff of Cascadia Hotel, thank you for hosting us today. We also say thank you to the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus, engineering faculty, and IT support team for their continuous technical expertise, and Pat and Max Limited. Thank you to the companies whose generous donations help us keep our delegates refreshed. Kiss Bacon Company, Amco, Acado Distribution, Price Match Sugarners, SM Jalil, Lucozade, Gingerbread, and Bermudez Biscuit Company. We must also recognize Mr. Derek Chinfat and Clifford Sidansing, our valued members of the media, and the dedicated members of the MUN Committee of the Rotary Club of Central Port of Spain, who work tirelessly to bring this initiative to life year after year and hitting a milestone of 25 years this year. Finally, to our trainers and General Committee for your dedication during the past 7 weeks of training and passing on the wealth of knowledge to these budding young minds. Sacrificing your Saturdays to contribute to this program is no easy task, and you have all continued to the legacy of MUN. Delegates, today, your commitment to global understanding, peace, and human rights is the true heart of the Model UN. Thank you for your contributions, your persistence, and decorum. I also extend thank you to Rotaractor Rakaya Scott for serving as our MC this morning. We wish you all the very best for a productive and engaging Model UN 2025 General Assembly debate. I now hand you over to MC Rakaya Scott.
Thank you very much, Sanjeev. Ladies and gentlemen, delegates, we have come almost to the end of this morning's proceedings, and it's been nothing short of a pleasure to be your MC this morning. This moment is very, very full circle for me. I started out at Model UN when I was 15 years old, which is a decade ago, and Model UN by Rotary Club is as old as I am. So it's really been a pleasure to be your host this morning, and I would just like to leave you with these words. We have heard this morning from our distinguished guests of declarations that have been signed in 1950 this and 60 this. Before all of us were born, well, most of us, let me say that. Certainly before I was and you as delegates were born. And when we look around the world today, as Her Excellency mentioned, there are conflicts in in almost every continent. The job is far from over, and you have the power to contribute to changing that. Understand the power that you hold as an individual, and understand the power that you hold collectively. It would not be me if I didn't mention and encourage all of us to keep our brothers and sisters in Jamaica in your prayer, and to keep your brothers and sisters in Sudan, Myanmar, and Palestine in your heart. So I will now like to invite the Beetham vibrations, Let There Be Peace on Earth.